What is up, Jabronis? JJ back here with the Kush. You know, I was thinking about it. I didn't mention this to you on the show before. I have a shirt where we could have kind of matched on this show.
You have a Banana Republic shirt from 1997 that you still wear?
You can't tell that that's a Banana Republic shirt, but I have a shirt that's very similarly colored that I could have worn, and we would have matched.
Can we start the show again after this shitty intro, or do we have to just keep going and act like nothing happened?
I think you can speak for yourself. I think that the intro is I think the intro is what makes this. And I think, the differentiation of how we do this on a weekly basis, I think has been good because you obviously only want to talk player props. And I basically want to navigate the show in whatever direction I feel makes the most sense.
I would love that. The thing I'm most happy about is that your dad cannot sabotage the show this week. For those of you that watched the show, you may have watched the show that his dad was on. You may have watched the show where we talk props. He totally sabotaged it. Did he at least apologize for what he did, or did he laugh at us?
Yeah, apologized.
Really? Your dad apologized for sabotaging our show?
Yeah, I could screenshot it for you. It seemed empathetic too.
I would love that. That's terrific. He actually has a heart. That makes me feel better. That makes me feel better about the man, JJ. Now, that's one thing. Second of all, I'm sure there's other things you want to talk about. But this cat is in the house, and it killed the mouse again. So it's gonna. Do I need to take the cat to the sausage factory?
How many mice do you have in your house? Like,
they're not real mice. They're fake mice, and she thinks that she killed a real mouse, but it's not a real mouse. It's a fake mouse.
So you're dropping fake mice
all over the house, so she leaves me alone. But obviously, it didn't work. She's sitting here under the table.
Why don't you just get a catnip?
I wonder if she's immune to it, because I kind of wanted to sit around the house just being blasted with her all day, but she doesn't act like it. She just acts normal.
Look, let me tell you something. I'm a cat aficionado.
Okay.
You get the little cat jungle gym thing. You ever see them in like Petco?
I got one.
They're like obstacle courses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just douse them with catnip.
All right, I'm going to douse your ass with catnip. What do you think about that? Good talk. Okay, the other thing is
on cloud 9.
Yeah. Okay. Cloud 9. You excited about that? We'll both get messed up. All right. So the second thing is there is someone at RPS that has a hairpiece. And I asked on the Wishbone pod last night, which guys do you think have a hairpiece? Because it's only one of them. And I do want to say your dad's name was brought up. I quickly shot it down when they asked you. I have seen Joey Works hair. I don't think it's anyone from the bet side. Serial killer spread. He had an alfalfa. That's a real thing. Possibly Tyler. Probably not. Too young for a hairpiece. There is a member at RPS though that wears a hairpiece, and we're trying to out this person. Any idea who it could be? Stevie.
So it's got to be somebody with somebody with some luscious locks, right?
Correct. Not me though. Look, this ain't coming out, bro.
So somebody with some hair. So no JSU, no Big T.
Definitely not Big T.
Yeah, no Tambo.
No Tambo.
No DC.
Nope. We're basically down to Glock, Stevie Boynton, and maybe Uncle T.
Uncle T ain't rocking. He's too masculine.
Yeah, imagine having a mustache.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he's too masculine. He can't. Yeah. He's not comfortable enough in his own skin to wear a hairpiece.
So anyways, leave it in the comments if you've got anybody that you know that wears the hairpiece. Let us know in the chat. And
was that like insider information? Like somebody anonymously drop a suggestion box hint to you?
This person has a hairpiece, and I'm like, don't worry, I won't tell anyone who it is, but we're definitely going to ask questions as to who it was, and then someday I'll let you know who it is.
Hairpiece, yeah. It's got to be somebody with some locks. I'd have to go through the coordinators, but no guess for me right now.
JJ was worried about Faxman's hair last week. Plugs maybe for the Faxman, Mike Carr. Ooh, plugs. Your dad might have some plugs.
Tell you what, if he's got plugs, where are they? He doesn't have he don't have a lot. He don't have a lot up top. So, unless he starts getting that Brady transplant surgery, I don't think he's got a lot going up top.
Now, listen, you were supposed to be somewhere right now, but we ended up doing the show anyways because whatever you had fell apart. What happened? What's going on?
I had box seats to a Rangers game. The individual that was getting me the tickets has COVID. And I did not want to go alone to the Rangers game in that box.
What's your wife doing?
She could come, but she doesn't like hockey, and I don't really like hockey either. I was going with him because it was a box seat, and I was going to go. I hate hockey.
Okay.
I was actually, believe it or not, I was going to go there and watch the Thursday Night Football game on my phone while I was there.
Hockey games are amazing, man, especially a Ranger game.
That sport sucks.
Yeah, you don't like it. I like it.
I was born in America. If you were born in Canada, fine, fair.
There's almost as many Americans in there now. It's like tons of Americans play hockey.
Did you realize that reruns of the Golden Girls get more ratings than the Stanley Cup?
Not true. Not true. Reruns of the Golden Girls do not show up on the Nielsen ratings.
They outperform the Stanley Cup every year.
I do not believe you.
And The Price is Right. Both of them outperform. Both of them outperform the Stanley Cup.
Do you think this week The Price is Right will outperform Thursday Night Football?
I do not.
Okay. Thursday Night Football.
My take on Thursday Night Football is, as bad as the product's been and as bad as it will continue to be with some of these upcoming matchups, people will continue to watch Thursday Night Football no matter who's playing.
Okay. Well, we'll just like me, we will give you our Thursday night plays, but what we usually do is talk about props and other things, such as giving our actual plays from some other games. So before we get into those in particular, give me like the best bet that you have right now on the board that's not the Thursday night game. Because I got one I got a couple I'm feeling very sexy about this week. And, get even money last week. We battled back. And this is the week that if you bet against me, you'll really make a lot of money. But I think I'm on the right track now. I'm feeling sexy.
Okay, I won't comment on the latter. However, for me, my favorite look this week, and look, this is saying something because I'm a big Christian Kirk guy. I love the fact that his number was lower this week at 51.5. I am a bit concerned though, because this is looking more and more like they like Zay Jones more in this offense. Especially recently. And I know Kirk's got the big money, so I assume he's going to continue to see his fair share of targets. However, he just hasn't been in the game plan recently. Interesting matchup against the Giants, who have looked actually really good defensively. I mean, I know obviously everybody talks about how their winning record is what it is, but they've looked very good defensively. They've been like a gnat where they don't go away, but that's a separate conversation. I do like Zay Jones over his number. It's 41.5. The guy is never leaving the field. He's out snapping Christian Kirk. And to me, you're just going to be on the field this long. And it's very difficult to run on the Giants. So I do like the idea of this team passing more with, obviously, of course, Peterson calling the plays and Lawrence really coming into his own. I know that it was the Jaguars, like 3-3 or 2-4. They've still looked like a much better team this year. And to me, it's just a soft number. It's a soft number on a guy who's practically playing every snap. I think he has 5 or more targets in every game he's played this year. The 2 games prior to this last one where he went over this number, I think he had 8 and 10 targets. He's just being heavily used in this offense, regardless of script, whether they're up a lot, down a lot, it doesn't matter. So I think it's a soft number, and I'm taking advantage of it at 41.5 Zay Jones. All
right, I'm going to go. There's a couple things that I got to bring up here. First of all, we got a Denver Jets game here in Denver this weekend, and it's just going to be a shit show. I don't know how many Broncos games you've suffered through. They've all seemingly been on Monday or Thursday or Sunday night. They've just been awful. And this team is not getting better anytime soon. Russell Wilson has a lat issue where he can't throw, and now a hamstring issue where he can't run. And Brett Rippon, I've seen enough of this guy. On the other side, we got Zach Wilson, the other Wilson, who is nothing more than a game manager and a trophy MILF hunter. So you've got 2 things going on with that Wilson as well. So both Wilsons stink, Dunkel. Both Wilsons stink. Now, we're supposed to do player props. So if Zach Wilson's prop gets posted at 210.5 or higher, you take that's my play. I would think they're going to put him up there 230, 240, but I feel like if it's down at 210.5, you bet the under, because Zach Wilson is not going to be able to get this offense going against the Broncos. Simple as that. Elijah Moore now threw a hissy fit, so he's not even playing this weekend. Nonetheless, the Broncos, on the other hand, can't do anything right. They have an inept head coach. They've got a quarterback that's a complete bust and is going to keep the Broncos in salary cap hell for a while, probably. They did run the ball well last week, but they get the Jets this week. So the first one would be Wilson. The second one would be the under on this game. And JJ, I pulled a keg. I stayed up till Monday morning waiting for this line to drop, and it dropped at 42.5. So you can't recommend a 42.5 when the total dropped to 38.5. But I have an alternate way of attacking this, which I'm going to ask you about. So 38, I'm not betting an under 38.5. It's possible it happens too, because both these offenses are horrible. But what do you think about attacking this from the team total side and a same game parlay? Yes, I know you got to get 2 right, but under 24.5 for both teams, that's minus 165 now. You're going to want to let that pass. But under 23.5, you can get minus 120. And under 21.5 for both teams, you get at plus money. You can also go the route of under 2.5 touchdowns at plus 105, which is another route that I took actually later in the week. I don't see either one of these teams sniffing 3 touchdowns this week. The NFL is very unpredictable. I get it. But if you want to bet the under in this game and you don't feel comfortable at 38.5, what do you think about going the alternate route of either under touchdowns or under team totals?
So I will never bet 2 team totals under in the same game. I'll just bet the game under for double if I was going to do that, because you leave yourself pigeonholed if one team scores 35 and the other team scores nothing. You will go 1-1 when you could have just doubled up on the full game under. I think as far as like zero sum type of conversations, you should really never be betting in that fashion. Now I get why you're saying it, right? Because the number's not what it was and now it's less, but that number does impact the team totals as well. So personally, I think if you still like the team totals under, then you have to still like the full game under.
Well, if the team totals are 21.5 and the game line is only 38, it's a lot different.
The team totals are both, you said 19.5?
19.5 and 18.5.
I mean, it's going to land you on what, 39?
Yeah, it's over.
I mean, that's so yes. If both teams exactly score that, then yeah. If one team scores 19,
that would
and
be
the other
over.
scores 18,
that'd be under
20.
So you say no to that. What about the touchdowns here? The Broncos are averaging 16 points a game. They can't get in the goddamn end zone. I don't see it getting any better this week. There's no reason telling me why. Their defense is elite. I have no qualms with thinking that the Jets are going to struggle to score this week too. What about 2 teams under 2.5 touchdowns?
So here's my only issue with this game in particular. First of all, this line is like massive disrespect to Denver. I get it. The Jets are playing really well. The Jets are playing very confidently. But woof, this line is like hella disrespectful.
The Broncos going to win this game, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that. This line should be past 3.
They're desperate.
However, they just haven't looked right. Now, maybe the Jets offense can speed this team up, because we could say a lot of what we want about the Jets. This team's offense has been above mediocrity all season long. I mean, this team, they have been running the ball well. I'm not a big Zach Wilson guy, but Flacco looked like decent. I mean, they were making fun of me on the Print Factory. Like, Flacco's been airing the ball down. Like, he looked decent. And I don't know if it's a Robert Saleh thing. I don't know if it's an offensive coordinator thing. Even Wilson looks okay. And I thought he's terrible. I think he's terrible. Like, I thought the fact that they reached for him in the first round, I didn't think he'd be much in the NFL, but he at least looks competent. I mean, in this system, I guess. Now, granted, they have playmakers all over the place, so maybe that helps. I get it, though. 2 better defenses than offenses, but it just seems like on a weekly basis, you look, and where are the Jets in opponent territory? I don't know. Again, Breece Hall's great. Carter, I think, would be a starter for most teams. They have great weapons on the outside. I think their wide receivers are getting a lot of separation. That's what's making Wilson and Flacco's life easier. And the reason I say it could speed him up is if Denver's forced to really only throw the football, maybe you get a better version of Wilson. I don't know. But here's what I do know. I do know that this line feels overinflated in both directions. I mean, the fact that this total's back down to 38.5, I think a 38.5 total with these 2 teams to me is wild. But even more wild to me is the fact that Denver's only a 1-point favorite. So I don't have enough conviction to bet the over, but yeah, Denver seems like such a money spot in this money team in this spot.
Yeah, they're not a good team. They're not a well-coached team. Their quarterback sucks, and they might be with a backup, but I think there is something. They're playing at home, and then the desperation there. Like, they know they have to win.
You think Wilson might sit? Russell Wilson?
I mean, it's possible. It's
I mean,
possible.
if he sits, that changes it for me because he can show up.
JJ, he's been awful.
He's been bad,
like, really bad. Like Brett Rippon's really bad too. But if he sits, yes, a lot of people are going to start taking the Jets. I don't know how big of a difference it is though. The guy's arm is falling off. He can't run.
If I get confirmation after tomorrow's practices that Russell Wilson will actually start, I'm definitely going to put the Broncos at the number. I'm just worried that I bet him and then Rippon starts and this line swings 2 or 3 more points. And this offense looks completely lifeless.
That's all right. You know what? If you gave me the Broncos right now, knowing that +3, I'll take them. Every game they play is going to be close. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be close.
What's your thoughts on what happened? What's your thoughts on what happened with Gordon?
Melvin Gordon?
Yeah.
I don't know. The guy freaking fumbled in 5 straight games. He fumbled at the goal line. He's standing on the sideline acting like, he's been disrespected. Like, don't fumble. Don't fumble at the goal line. Don't fumble twice in one game. And then you got a head coach that doesn't know how to communicate with guys. Okay, they just sold so much bullshit this offseason, how great they were going to be. And this guy's a clown. Hackett, if he's not the worst head coach in the league, he's right there among the dregs. He's miserable. They made Latavius Murray, who they picked up off the waiver, off a practice squad from New Orleans 2 weeks prior. They made him the focal point of the offense. No trust in the Broncos. What's so funny?
Isn't it just crazy how you can be such a good OC and such a terrible head coach? Like think
He's
about
not a good offensive coordinator either.
I thought Green Bay's offense looked decent
with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, I'll tell you what. Aaron Rodgers looks like a bag of shit this year. And if you want to blame Devontae Adams, fine.
Yes.
But to me, it's not enough. It's not enough.
Hackett's an offensive coordinator too. Like, he gave all the other in-game duties away to some dude they hired, Zach Rosberg. They brought him over. He was retired. He was with the Ravens. So there aren't as many clock issues.
Classic Peter Principle example, right?
I don't know what that is.
I mean, we all reach our point of respectful incompetence as we climb the ladder.
Yeah. Still not following you, but let's just move on to the next one. Maybe I'll get it another day. Do you have another non-Thursday night player prop for us or a bet, JJ?
I do. And a good book, by the way, The Peter Principle. Highly recommend it.
What's it about?
It's about what I just described, that humans reach their point of respectful incompetence as they climb the ladder. Okay. So anywho, Raiders, Texans, Davis Mills, over 34.5 pass attempts. Betting this guy's over in his pass attempts has been an absolute cash cow. I have not been on them, of course, but he comes off a week where game script played well for him. This time it will likely not. I understand that Damian Pierce has been running well and they've been happy to hand the football off. This just feels like a spot where the Raiders control the game for the most part, which will result in him dropping back a ton. And it's a number I think he's gone over either 4 or 5 or 4 of his last 5. Obviously, the last game he did not. But this team, when the script is right, they love to throw, and they're not very efficient at it. So I wouldn't play his completions, but he drops back a ton. As long as he doesn't take an egregious amount of sacks or decides to take off with his legs, I think this gets over, as many of his props have gone this year in regards to this specific derivative. So yes, Davis Mills over 34.5 pass attempts. It's DK minus 125.
He is 4-1 to the over on his pass attempts and 3-2 to the over of 34.5. That's pretty good. He was the guy right below the guy I'm going to go to next, Jacoby Brissett. Boy, we're talking about some dusty quarterbacks over here. Okay. Brissett has 30.5 pass attempts. That's his prop. 5-1 to the over there, 5-1 to the current line. I think the Browns are playing from behind. Currently, they're 6.5-point dogs. It's not like the Ravens have been great, but Jacoby Brissett, who flirts and goes over this number just about every time, he's 5-1 to the over. So I'm going to keep riding that train too. You like Davis Mills? My over pass attempts guy is Jacoby Brissett. He gets to 31. We win. I don't think 31 is too much. I never thought I would be betting this, but the more I dug into it, I liked it. So Jacoby Brissett over 30.5 pass attempts.
Makes a lot of sense, especially if you get another good start from the Ravens, which isn't it crazy? Like, you look at the way the NFL set up, the Ravens should be undefeated. Their 3 losses were all games that they led by double digits in.
Can't finish.
So, I don't know how we can make of it, but to me, it's hard to not like what you're seeing from the Ravens. However, if you're going to bet them, it seems like bet the first half because this team is just like sitting on a lead, which is not something they used to do. This team used to be the bully of the NFL.
I don't think that's going to happen anymore, but I do think even though it's a divisional game, the Ravens are just a much better team. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Ravens just get into a track meet with themselves this week. Jacoby Brissett over 30.5. I got one more that's not Thursday night. Any other bets you want to share?
No, we could just talk Thursday night when you're done with your last one.
Yeah. And the other one I'm going to go with, and I just watched the Chargers get beat up by Latavius Murray. They brought in some pretty big names to help stop the run, and it has not worked for them. They are getting gashed by the run. And I saw Latavius come off the street and run for 66 last week. And this week, they get to go up against the fresh-legged young Kenny Skywalker, who has a prop of 66.5 rushing yards. To me, he passed the eye test last week, JJ. Had 21 carries in his first shot at the lead running back role. The Chargers are never going to blow a team out. It's amazing how many of their games end up coming down to the final position. I guess you could say that about every team, but they just don't pull away. I think Seattle stays in this game over 66.5 on Kenny Walker.
Let me ask you this. How many carries do you think he gets in this game?
I think he can get 18 to 20 carries.
Oh, yeah. To me, if you think he's going to get that much volume, it's almost like a must buy. By the way, the kid was pretty good at Michigan State.
His kid's really good last week. He had 21 last week. Yeah, nice, Kevin. I think he gets 18 to 20 this week. I don't see them getting blown out. I don't see the Chargers doing that. They just let teams stick around. So Kenny Walker over. That'll be the other one. Let's talk about Thursday Night Football.
Let's do it.
JJ. For those of you watching this weekend, don't worry about this, or you can just listen to see if we were right or wrong. So like I told you, I started using a chart here. Goes back, tracks exactly, what the player has done in this situation with these props in the past, and it can at least, help you try to handicap the future. So the guy that I was looking at tonight is AJ Green. 23.5 is his receiving prop. 5-0 to the under, 5-0 to the number 23.5. Hopkins comes back. They already got Rondale Moore. So this is getting to be a much busier wide receiver core. It's not like Kyler goes out and chucks a ton. Expecting a lower scoring game in this game. So logic would tell me the under for AJ Green, he hasn't hit that number yet this year. So talk to me here. Why were you considering the over, or at least thinking, hey, maybe the over is the way to go tonight?
So that's just the way I approach betting. I mean, I wouldn't consider it right, wrong, and different. It's subjective for sure. But I mean, you're getting him right now on the nut low. Like you even said, he's 5-0 on his under props, which to me is a trend that means the number is going to keep dipping until it's too low. And then at some point it's going to ping pong back, which is how betting works. So let's say he goes today, right, and doesn't even get a single target, right, but is on the field for 55% of snaps. They're going to still hang a number next week that's going to be a little less, might be 18.5, 19.5, whatever it is. At some point, that number is going to get too low where it makes sense to ping pong it backwards. I'm not saying it is too low yet. I'm just saying it's past the point where I feel comfortable betting him under. So it's hard to tell because a guy like AJ Green, play could break down and he could catch a 25-yarder and it's game over, or blouses, if you will. But he's been real dusty. So, yeah, I can't disagree with the play. However, I disagree with the logic behind it just because I'm past the point where this becomes a playable prop for me.
This is why you talk to smarter people than yourself. Then you get the other side. Now, I wasn't betting it, but it did look pretty juicy. I'll tell you that much. So what about Thursday night? Huh?
I mean, perspectives are that, right? I think overall it wouldn't surprise me if this went over today. I'm just saying that I think it might have gone too far.
Favorite bets tonight. I already got the under 44. It's at 43.5. Do what you want to do with that. But I'm just looking at injuries too. Both teams missing their left guards, Cards without their starting center. So you got two offensive lines that are missing chunks. Arizona's scoring 19 points a game. The Saints are going to try to run. You know that. That's something that they don't want Andy Dalton throwing the ball a whole bunch. It's just another ugly Thursday night game. And 44 for me, it's too high. What do you got?
Yeah, so I bet the first half under. It was 22 and a half minus 105 a few days ago, but right now you can still be able to get 21 and a half.
Minus 110.
So yeah, to me, that's practically the same number. Obviously if it lands 22, well, it is what it is, but not a common number for a first half to sit on. Look, I mean, these are two teams that are slow starters. And I don't, in a game like this, Holden, maybe it's just me. Like, I don't see there being a lot of big plays. I mean, granted, obviously a broken play could happen, right? But like, you talk about like some of the big plays the Saints have really been runs. The Cardinals just lack explosiveness. Now, Hopkins might help there, right? I don't know how much they're going to unleash him tonight, but it's not like even when he was in his prime, it's not like he was this crazy good deep threat. He's just always been a good mid, call 15 to 30 yard guy. That's practically almost like a poor man or a rich man's Michael Thomas when he's in his prime. So I don't think Hopkins coming back is going to stretch this field anymore. They lose Kirk in the offseason, and I guess they're hoping a guy like Rondale Moore is going to be that for him. I don't know, Dorsch. But both teams lack explosiveness. Both teams, I'm sure, are going to be more than happy to take their points in the red zone when it comes to it. I think, if anything, it makes more sense that fireworks could happen in the second half if one of these teams gets a lead and the other goes prevent. However, again, it just makes a lot of sense that drives stall. I haven't been a big fan of the Saints defense, to be honest, though. I think this defense has been a big letdown this year. But again, you get the Cardinals on a short week. They've had issues moving the football anyway. Obviously getting Hopkins back helps. I think it's a good spot for the Cardinals. It's hard to imagine that this game shoots. So to your point, yes, I like it under as well, but I did only bet the first half under.
Okay. I tailed you on the first half. I got the game under. The other one that I got is Juwan Johnson, the tight end. I don't know if this number I saw someone say they hit it at 30. I'm going, what are you doing? This thing opened at 23.5. And I saw it at 26.5. I'm like, 26.5 is fine. But why Juwan Johnson of all people? Well, few reasons. First of all, Arizona, I think for the last 2 decades, they've been the worst team against the tight end, and they're 29th in DVOA again. They just can't guard the position. They've had problems with it for years. The second thing is the opportunity, right? He's going to be out there when he plays. He plays when he gets on the field a lot, when he has the opportunity. And then there's no Thomas. There's no Landry. I mean, honestly, does Johnson get four catches, 4 catches, 6 targets, 4 catches? I think that puts you over the number right there. So I don't know if this is a popular bet at all, but you and I, when I said Juwan Johnson, you're like, yeah, I like that. So I wonder, did you already have this or what?
No, didn't have it already. Bet's been steamed up a ton.
Where is it now? It's not at 30.
I'm seeing 25.5 minus 150.
All right. So maybe it is a little 25.5 is not bad. Minus 150
is minus 145.
No, screw that.
Or is it? Yeah, minus 145. That's DK though. I don't know what FanDuel is, but yeah, I mean the guy's seeing obviously targets. Dalton looks his way for sure. Obviously Taysom Hill is an interesting wrinkle. Obviously with this team trying to run the football a little more these days. With the Winston injury, Michael Tom, like what is going on with this? This dude was like, how often do you see that happen where a guy is like a de facto number one in a sport and then just like poof, gone. Absolutely crazy. And do you think it's mental with him?
I have no idea, man. I'm not there, but he was the best wide receiver in the NFL for 1 year, and then we have not heard from him again.
It was more than 1 year. I mean, granted,
best in the league for 1 year. He was the best in the league.
It just felt like he mastered the 8-yard slant.
Yeah, well, he had Drew Brees throwing to him too.
That was good. But yeah, right? I think this team's lacking weapons. I mean, who do they even have? Traquan Smith and Callaway. Is that it?
And Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill, and Alvin Kamara. That's their.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like receive, like pass catch.
I know. Like Kamara, basically, is their number one receiver.
And by the way, like I don't think it's a crazy idea because you look at like some of these passing yard props, or I guess you look at some of the pass props. So Dalton's at 220. I mean, you look at some of these numbers. If he was to just spread the wealth tonight, you can have a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow just betting these overs. I mean, you got Callaway 33.5. You got Traquan Smith 29.5. Juwan Johnson 25.5. Like, I mean, you think if you bet those three, Holden, I mean, I feel pretty confident saying there's a better shot you go 2-1 than 1-2 or 0-3.
That's more of a stab, though.
But I mean, like, Traquan Smith's a deep guy. Coway's a deep guy. It's not crazy to think one of them just catches 130-yard ball.
Right.
You're home, and then you have your boy Juwan Johnson. I used to like to approach it in this way because, again, they have to throw the ball to somebody. So the only way you get nabbed is if what's his name, Dalton gets hurt, and then you need Taysom Hill to get you there, and they'll just run some type of hybrid option offense. But I do like these spots to fire. I just don't like the vig. I don't like doing it this late. So I'll be off this one. But I mean, if you're looking for spots to bet that have good hedge middles, to me, just bet the over on those 3 pass catchers for the Saints.
Okay. Then, so I like the under in this, and I like the Juwan Johnson. And then I want to talk about something that
I forgot Olave's back. Olave was out last week.
Olave. Oh, that was the other one too. Over 4.5 catches plus money.
Pay no mind to what I said, because last week Olave was out and it made sense to do it last
week. How did I forget to tell you about my favorite bet from this game? It was more than Johnson. Olave plus 4.5 receptions for the whole freaking. You forgot he was out. I forgot he was in tonight, and I forgot I bet this bet yesterday. So I don't know where it is at 4.5 receptions, but if this team is trailing, and I know it's 2 guys that I'm betting overs on, but one is for yards, one is receptions. These to me are the 2 guys that are going to benefit the most. It's going to be Olave, who is a funnel. All I need, and I'm getting plus money. 4.5 minus 120. No, 4.5 plus 105 plus 110. That makes it a little juicier for me. But in that case, so then I go down this rabbit hole. I say, well, if I do like Johnson over and I like Olave over catches, why wouldn't I just back Andy Dalton over yards? But these are 2 specific instances where I like both of them.
Yeah, I can't argue that at all. Again, obviously, I didn't realize or forgot that Olave was going to be back this week. And Scott, you mentioned Winston. Like,
he's out.
I mean, if Dalton gets hurt, is Winston even going to play? He's ruled out. Right?
He's out. He would be the backup. Yeah.
So he could come. I mean, if Dalton wants to get hurt, Winston could come.
Taysom's right there if he gets hurt.
Yeah. True. But yeah, so ultimately, I guess indifferent on the Winston piece because it doesn't seem like he would play anyway. But needless to say, I like Olave. I forgot he was in.
All right, Olave over 4.5, Johnson over 20, whatever and a half you got there. Zach Wilson, if they post this, hopefully they post it around 215.5. I'm going under anything 210.5 or more. I know it's uncomfortable to bet an under there. I've just seen too much of this defense from the Broncos, and I don't see how Wilson's going to be able to attack him there. So that would be one. The Kenny Walker over 66.5 and the Brissett over 30.5. What do you got again? You got first half for Arizona and New Orleans under?
Yeah, first half under for the game. And first half under for the game. Yeah, first half under. That's it. And then Zay Jones over 41.5 from Jaguars Giants, and Davis Mills over 34.5 pass attempts.
And just a reminder, if you're not on JJ's pick, the Cardinals are the worst first half scoring team in the world at 4.8 points per game in the first half, JJ. 4.8. And New Orleans did much better.
Yeah, so these aren't spots I target too often, to be honest, because again, I do like to buck these trends when I feel it makes sense. But look, I mean, the Cardinals have just been so dusty in the start of these games, and they get them on a short week. It's just hard to fathom unless something weird happens, like, obviously a special teams touchdown or a broken play, or obviously those things can happen. But as far as like offensive efficiency, this team has been tough to trust from a full drive perspective all season long. Hopkins back could help. Olave back for the Saints could help. But it's just 2 offenses tough to trust. So that's why I like the under.
All right. Very good. What's next on the bets channel? What do we got coming up with bets? Anything?
So I'm pretty sure the touchdown show tomorrow, right, with Spread and Tyler.
Okay.
Where they recap the betting weekend on the Run Pure Bets end of things. My dad does his Facts Man Friday video on Friday, so you'll have that. Then I'll be back for the Print Factory tomorrow afternoon for the Run Pure members with Big T, ODB, and JSU. The college football show Saturday morning, and then I will be rejoining you guys back for the final countdown this Sunday. We can get more of my great takes, which have often included guys getting injured. So looking forward to it.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence this weekend. I'm looking forward to that. Up to lock on the DFS side. Scott, Stewie, Stewart, they both suck. Are you talking about me and JJ or were you talking about the Saints quarterback situation?
I think he meant them both. Yeah. I mean, he might have meant us. He meant us. That's fine. That's fine.
That's fine too.
I respect constructive criticism. How well do you take criticism?
Very well, if it's properly positioned. If it's like my ex-wife and you just start taking personal shots, then I'm not happy with it and I'll bite your head off.
So in essence, you don't take it too well.
Unless if it's constructive, I do. But if somebody comes up to me and be like, "You're an asshole, fuck you," I'll come right back at you, man. I'm not going to take that.
Okay.
What about you? You take criticism well?
I consider myself very self-deprecating. So
yeah, me too.
I very rarely do I find myself going out of character in that regard.
Yeah, it's tough. It's the teams, he says, the Saints and the Cards. Bad team. They suck. They both suck too. We suck. The quarterbacks suck, and they suck. So
by the way, your hair's glistening today.
I did it for you today.
Yeah, it's glistening.
Yeah.
Actually,
in all honesty, I woke up this morning and everybody's like, "Oh, you do talk about your girlfriend all the time." I used to talk about my ex-wife all the time. It's a lot better to talk about her, but I woke up this morning with my hair and she goes, you have the same hair that you had yesterday on one of your shows that I was watching, to which I said, maybe I should actually make my hair today. So I took the 3 minutes, put some shit in it, combed it back, and it's great.
It looks like you're dyeing it again though.
Fuck you. It does. You know what? The stuff I put in my hair makes it look black.
Some would call it hair dye. Holden.
It's not. It's not hair dye. It's paste.
It's like metallic.
Let's see your hair, JJ. Let's see if you don't have a hairpiece.
Look at this. Here's mine.
Yeah, see? Not as nice as mine, but it's all
right. See the sides, the high fade. Join the club.
Yeah.
Nobody has hair.
You got a lot of back hair, JJ. I'm starting to think we're running out of time here.
Almost no back hair. I'm like a baby's ass.
Really? You're not a super hairy Italian guy then? I
shave.
Your back?
Yeah. Well, I don't have to, but when it gets bad, I do. I have the long, I can take it out. I got the long razor. You ever see it?
Let's really get to what does your wife think about butt hair?
Not a fan.
Do you have any?
I do.
Do you shave it?
Not really.
I do.
I'm not really a big hairy Italian, to be honest.
Okay. I do shave my butt. But I do also want to say that don't use the same one you're using it on your face. Make sure you have 2 separate cartridges. One for the butt, one for the face.
Sterling asks a good question. What's going on right now? It's called real fucking life, Sterling. Yeah. Okay. We all deal with this shit. You either shave your ass or you don't. Okay. It's not like you're in between. This isn't like ping pong. Okay. You either have a hairy ass or you don't. We're just trying to be objective up here.
Who doesn't have a hairy ass once they're in their 30? That's why you don't have a hairy ass yet. By the time you're 30.
I feel like there are certain groups of people that don't get hairy in the butt cheeks.
Hey, guys, in the chat, if you are 30 or older, do you have ass hair? Just my question. One question. That's all I got. Is this the show we got Manscaped? I'm just saying that, do something for your lady. Your lady is not going to like ass hair. She's not going to like the hair coming out of your nose or your ears. Be well groomed. And maybe someday you'll find the woman of your dreams.
Well, yes. That's why I tried to give you some tips last week, or was it the week before, when we were talking about how to properly shave your genitals. You use the ball burr that my dad's been promoting. That's not as good as the Manscaped razor.
You don't think it's as good? Because he told me that it protects your balls better than the Manscaped.
He's never used the Manscaped. He's for whatever reason, he's pro ball burr. He's never even used anything.
Yeah, but he said his ball bag machine did not cut him there, yet I used Manscaped and I did get chafed on my nutsack.
No, you gotta put cold water on your testicles. You gotta harden them. You gotta toughen the skin.
Can you get Vincent's comment up here, please? Vinny Cano.
Yeah, I have ass hair. Grow up,
JJ.
Now, is that you think? You think he's saying grow up, dude? Is it like we don't need to be talking about this, or because you don't have ass hair, grow up? Dude?
No, like grow up. You're gonna get it. Deal with it.
I didn't say I didn't have ass hair. I just said I don't have a lot of ass hair.
Oh, Scott Stewie Stewart. Wait till you're in your 60s. I only got 12 more years, buddy. Nothing's getting less hairy. I'll tell you that much. Nothing. Good. We have gone off the rails, but that's what this show's about. That's basically what working with me is about. At some point in time, it's going to go off the rails. Anything else you'd like to discuss before we leave, or do you feel comfortable in your manhood now?
Before you fire up the ball burr or the Manscaped, just make sure you throw about 32 degrees Fahrenheit water on the gonads. Could do it in the taint area.
Do you really do that?
That's how you don't get cut.
Right, but do you do that? Have you used this?
Yeah, but I will say this: with the Manscaped, I haven't had to. That's why I don't know. I don't know how you got cut with that.
I got cut. I'm telling you, my balls got cut. So do you like take a cup of cold water and just dip them in there? Do you put it under the sink?
I mean, I'm 32. I'm not 60. I don't have my balls clanking off my chin.
Yeah, but how do you got to get them cold? You said.
Let me just I just want to walk through the scenario. How does one dip their balls in a cup of water?
I don't know. Maybe you got small balls.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, if they're not dangling, how are you dumping them in water?
It's a big cup.
Dump it in go to 7-Eleven and dump it in a big.
But you have been saying for the last 10 years now that you got to make your balls cold when you're shaving them. Okay. My question to you is, how do you undergo doing that process?
This needs a quick splash, Holden.
All I got to do is put my hand under.
You don't need a beaker. You don't need a chemistry lab. Okay.
Done.
That's it. Just toughen them up. You'll feel the skin get tighter.
You got ice in this cup, but
yeah, there you go. Or just take an ice cube and rub it there. That'll help. Get the job done.
Thanks, JJ.
I'm here for professional advice in multiple facets. I mean, look what we learned today. We learned about the Peter principle. We learned
I still have no idea what the Peter principle is.
We learned about cold nuts, as Scotty said, and we gave out a few bets. I mean, what more can people ask for?
Just that they win,
It's it.
Nice. You haven't lost on this show, I don't think, the whole year, so that's pretty good.
That's fake news. That's fake news. However, it's been a good run the last few weeks.
It's been a great run the last few weeks. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll let you wrap up the show, because I think this was an above average show for you. I don't have standards for you on these shows, because I never know what version I'm going to get.
What does that mean?
Well, it'd be nice to get suit and tie Holden on a show.
Are you serious?
It'd be nice to get Holden Blazer on the show.
No, I'm sober. That's my whole thing. If you get me before 7:00, everything's going to be fine, which usually you and I work very sober with you, but after 7:00, it's relaxing time.
Lucky me.
Lucky you. Lucky you me. Is right.
All right.
Give us a thumbs up if you get a chance. Make sure you let us know if you have ass hair or not. For JJ, I'm Holden. Thumbs up would be great. Subscribe to our channel and keep running pure. JJ, get us out of here.
Gamble responsibly, run pure, stay safe, folks. See you next week.